All right, guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Rush podcast. I'm really excited and happy to introduce Inej, owner, founder, and CEO of Surf Mama Surf School, located in Peniche. Inej, pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
So I think for me, we have a variety of very special guests coming on this podcast. And really what excited me about bringing you on is I guess we can call it a very inspirational story of how you got into surfing, how you took that idea and that thing that you love and made it into a business in a climate that can be a little bit tricky, especially as a woman.
It's true.
Yeah, so I'd love to start off with kind of what surfing is for you, what it's given you in your life, and what it means, how you got into surfing in the first place.
So it starts when I was young, when I started to surf around like 12 years old. I fell in love by surfing, like everyone that I know. I wanted to surf every day, live by the ocean. And I always dream about to have my own business. I didn't know exactly which business, but I always dream about it. And when I was around like 18, I wanted to make a pause in my life in terms of to decide what I'm going to study, what I'm going to do. And I did like a year of pause. And I asked a friend at he got a surf school if he could like contract me for a summer job there. And he contracted me. I worked then in the summer when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, renting surfboards, going for the surf lesson as a helper. And then I really discovered, okay, I love this. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. And unfortunately, surfing and working as a surf instructor is like a seasonal job. So it was like quite hard to understand if it was like a good way for me like to work on this or not. And I just fell in love by teaching people and introduce them to the ocean, sharing with them like what is surfing for me, all these fantastic moments in the water that we have, it sticks on your head for the rest of your life. And I think my adventure starts there. I realized that I could like work with surfing and enjoying, because I'm always enjoying. It doesn't feel like a real job for me.
Yeah.
It feels like that I'm just sharing myself, my knowledge, everything that I know about it. And that start adventure, I start like to study. I did like 3 different courses to become a surf instructor. You have different grades. And then I start to work as a surf instructor. And before COVID, some things were changing in my life. So in COVID, we were stuck, as you know. And I really started to think about my future and things that I want, things that I don't want. And I think it makes me to really think about myself. And I decide like, okay, it's my time to start my own surf school. I used to work for different surf schools, surf camps. I met such nice people, such nice colleagues. I learned a lot with another surf instructors. I surf a lot. We have fun. I met like real nice people when I was coaching. I also realized that some people come for surfing to learn how to surf. Some people come for as a therapy. We don't know the reason behind. And that's why I really love to coach, because sometimes people came with like different reasons, and that's make me very useful and very glad to like teach them how to surf. So when I was stuck in my house, my head doesn't stop. So I start like to think, okay, I want to open my surf school. What I need to do that.
Right.
So with a friend, we start to create like my brand. and I need like a big search in terms of bureaucracy to open a surf school. And I knew that it was like a big step and I'm going to get into the Shark Tank.
For
Men's
sure.
world.
For sure. And I want to like unpack all of that, but I think I'd love to take a quick step back of that passion for surfing, and like, was there a moment when it clicked and you were like, this is what I want to do, this is going to drive what I do forward?
I mean, I think that thing is always inside of you. Just when you are young and you get older, you start to think about the things differently. And surfing for me, it's very important. When I was young, I was struggling a little bit with some healthy issues, and surfing was very important as a therapy and was the only thing that really makes me happy. And feel secure. I love the connection with the sea, the nature, everything that surf gives me. It's really part of myself. And I really wanted to share this with more people and help people as well, because surf helps me a lot and changed my life.
I think that's like, I think we can all kind of resonate with that, you know. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of the people listening to this podcast now have their own personal individual reasons for falling in love with surf. And I think that's really what makes it unique compared to a lot of other sports or even kind of like lifestyles, that surfing really feeds something beyond the physical, right? It's very much an emotional, like you said, a therapeutic, being around nature, the ocean, the power of it, connecting with it, working together with it, bringing in the artistic kind of element of creativity on the wave and where you can take it. Yeah, I think it's such a special thing, and like the desire to share that with others is a really beautiful thing. And did you have, in the early days, like when you started surfing, did you have any kind of like mentors or friends who got you into it, or did you kind of decide, I'm going to do this, I've seen other people doing it and I'm just going to try?
As well, it was a little bit like this. Like I love the beach, I love the sun and staying at the beach. So basically I asked my grandparents to like bought me a surfboard and a wetsuit, and they were like, what is surfing? Why you want to do this? Like, it's danger. My family is not connected with surfing. I'm the only surfer at the family. So in the beginning, it was like quite hard to get them into this sport.
So you're the first generation in your family, first generation of surfers. Amazing. Yeah. And yeah, that's actually a very interesting one, because you mentioned like thinking of what you were going to go and study and maybe like academia and things like this. When you decided to pursue surfing as a career path, how did the people around you take that? Your family, friends?
I mean, in the beginning, it was weird. They want me to study like different stuff. They didn't know nothing about surfing, and surfing is seasonal job. It doesn't give you any guarantees in terms of like stability, financial stability. So in the beginning, I thought like, okay, can be a little bit crazy idea, but I don't feel that it was wrong, because I felt like so happy and I felt so good with myself that I didn't thought it was like a bad idea. But yeah, for people around you is like, you are a surfer, what you gonna do with your life? You're gonna just surf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this thing? What is this thing you want to do? You're playing in the ocean.
So I can say that it was like, I start like a quite small fight with that and try to show people around me that I could do something big with that. And I really want to do what I love. I think we just live once, and sometimes we lose a lot of time searching for things that doesn't mean so much for us. And sometimes we forgot about what is important and what we want to do. And we quite get lost in terms of jobs. And I know a lot of people, they quit jobs all the time. They got burnouts because basically they are doing stuff they don't love.
Yeah.
And first reason is I want to do what I love.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of the times, and I can say it about myself as well previously, we kind of have an idea that what we want to do is our idea and actually what we want to do, but it has nothing to do with our own desires. It's kind of like a collection of the culture we're around, the people who are around us, what looks good, sounds good, what is the idea of success in society's eyes.
Our society.
And we just ignore ourselves, right? And I think it's a huge power, especially at a young age, you know, to be able to identify, actually, no, this is Inej, this is what I love doing, and I'm going to make a success of it.
Yeah.
And was it an immediate success? Was it like an easy path?
Now,
I ask as if I don't know. Of course I know.
basically, like, as I told you, in COVID, we were stuck, we were inside of the houses and the world stopped. But for some people it was horrible, but for me it was very important because I could like look to myself and really decide what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I lost my job. I had like literally no money. And then, okay, it's time to start my own project. I started in 2021, okay, really COVID time. And I can tell you that in the beginning, I thought like, okay, it was a crazy idea what I'm doing because I invest some money. And in the first 2 years of my surf school, I had like no bookings, no clients. So I really thought, okay, was not a good idea.
Especially at a time where travel is stopped, right? The world can't move. And this is completely dependent on people coming to where you are, to Peniche, to Portugal.
And Peniche is actually a very nice spot, surrounded by tourists and people coming from all the places. And in the beginning, I thought, okay, was not a good idea, what I'm going to do now, because I lost my money that I invest on my business. My business were like stopped, no bookings, no clients. So I really questioned myself about it. Should I continue? Should I stop? And I always felt something inside of me like saying like, don't stop, keep going. Don't stop, keep going.
Because you believed in it so much, because it's like, I want to do this as my lifestyle.
I think you really need to believe on yourself. Even people around you saying like, it's better you find a different job, go study something different. This is not going to give you money.
I love it.
You're not going to surf all your life. You're going to become old, all these blah, blah, blah thing.
The reasons not to do stuff, endless, right? And people will keep giving them to you.
Yeah, it was like people saying to me, don't be yourself.
Right, basically.
And I was like, why this is so wrong? Because for me, it makes me so sense. And I was like, it was my first business. I have my ideas and all this stuff, but I was not expert in business. So that's why I questioned so much myself. And then things start to change. So 2021, 22, and then 2023, things change. I start to have like more clients. And I start to feel like that I have a surf school. Before that, I had to work for different surf schools at the same time, having Surf Mama, coaching in different surf schools, doing different jobs, things that I didn't really enjoy to do, but I need to keep going. Yeah. And yeah, like it was a big adventure, a lot of fights. It's not easy. And I think the secret is you need to believe on yourself and listen your heart and never give up.
So you basically had kind of like the end goal in your mind the whole time and then did everything you could to keep that alive, right? Okay. Like working in different schools, making sure you're getting the money in, making sure that you can stay focused in this surf world.
And actually in some parts of my life, I felt like really sad because I was not enjoying like to coach in different schools or even to do different jobs between all these processes. But then I thought, okay, I'm going to keep going. I will have like my time. And I think my time arrived finally. It's been a big adventure. I met such nice people, like people, they changed my life. I have friends because everyone is like a client for the first day, but now I have a lot of friends that I met as a client. Now we are friends. I teach a lot of people how to surf, and I feel very happy with myself right now, and I don't see myself doing another thing for my future. And even when I become older, I see myself surfing, and I want to grow my surf school.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the beauty of it, right? You're talking about all these people telling you, well, how are you going to do this for the rest of your life and you'll get old and blah, blah, blah. But when you have your own business, you're not just relying on your ability to coach people, but eventually you can take a zoom out and have other people doing that, and you actually step into more of the business owner, running the business, taking it to different directions that you want to take it in. Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it kind of reminds me of the process of learning to surf, right? Learning to surf is a horrific process, right?
That's true.
But if you don't have the end goal in mind, if you're not so driven and focused to know I'm going to be a surfer, I want to surf, you're not going to make it through, right?
That's true.
And I kind of see a very, very strong resemblance between the two here of what you did to make your business work and what it takes to actually learn how to surf. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the sort of environment of setting up a surf business, especially in a place like Peniche. So Peniche is a place that I'm very, very familiar with. It's probably the best place in Europe to surf in terms of variety of waves and quality of waves. But it's also extremely competitive, male-dominated, and can also be quite an aggressive atmosphere at times. How is it for you to enter that shark tank, like you mentioned?
Yes, the shark tank. In the beginning, I felt like sometimes a little bit afraid, and I noticed that some people that were around me, they changed a little bit the behaving since I started my surf school.
People who are close to you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like some people, surf instructors around. I knew that I was like getting in the Shark Tank men's world. There is like around 50 surf schools in Peniche. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. Every corner you have a surf school. And yeah, in the beginning, it was a little bit, how do I say? I was afraid.
Intimidating. Yeah,
for me.
For sure.
There is no many women in Peniche having a surf school. So I felt like not that much support around. And we work at the beach. So you need to divide your working space with a lot of men's, a lot of surf schools, and that's not easy. I think I have a good relationship with everyone in Peniche, because in the beginning, it's very important you respect the others, and then they will respect you.
Right.
But as a woman, some people, they will try to squeeze me at the beach, like not give me...
Power games.
Exactly. Yeah. Too much space for coaching, or it's not easy. It was like a big process. And in terms of women, I didn't feel like very support because it doesn't exist that many women with surf schools around, or even many women surfing. Now we start to see more. And I never had like a coach, female coach when I was young. It was like always male coach. And today I feel that I can be like a good coach and a good support for a girl that wants to start to surf. And I feel that sometimes they search me because of that reason, because I'm a woman.
Right.
Women wants to learn how to surf with me. That's good because I never had that. So I feel like proud of that. And boys as well, but more women for sure.
And did you have, when you were starting your school, because you mentioned there weren't many women with surf schools, were there others that you kind of confided in or used as mentors or people to kind of support you through this process at that time when you were setting up the business?
Actually, no.
No.
Actually, no. It's like, as I told you, I just follow my dream and my passion, but I didn't feel like any support from a woman or from a man or for people they have already served schools. Actually, they feel like intimidated and okay, it's another serve school, another business, and it's very hard sometimes.
So if we're going to unpack this, basically, you were facing the challenges of opening a business during Corona, a business in the travel space, opening a business in an extremely competitive environment with 50 other surf schools in the same spot, and opening a business as a woman in a male-dominated world. Couple that with 2 years of bringing no business. Like, how did you keep going? How did you make it a success?
Actually, I don't know. Like, I just kept going. I think the secret in all this stuff in the life, I don't know, but it's you don't give up. If you don't give up and you keep seeing the light on the end of the road, just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. And when you make a lot of effort and you work a lot, I think in somehow, someday, what you want, you can get what you want. And yes, the secret is don't give up. And if it's your passion, if it's really what you love, just keep doing. There is no reason to stop.
It's kind of the law of attraction, right? Like, you put these ideas out there, you know that it's going to happen, and eventually it will happen, I guess, by taking that step by step by step. I mean, it's not going to happen if you don't make it happen and keep it moving.
Also, all the business, it takes time until like you start to like have something more solid. So it takes time. I'm speaking about years sometimes, like 3, 4, 5 years. And yeah, I just need to work a lot for sure. I was working a lot to get where I am today. And I still have a lot of work to do. But yes, it's never give up. If it's really your dream and really what you love, I don't see that anything is wrong with it.
Right. And I think like one thing a lot of people always have in their minds, and I'm sure you heard this a lot, is, but there's 50 other surf schools. Like, what are you going to do that's different? And I think people always think you have to like invent some new idea, new concept to make it work. But really, it sounds like if you're just believing in yourself, doing things with quality, with love, with care, that's going to be what differentiates.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I was like thinking what I can do differently from the other surf schools. Surf camps are a little bit different than surf schools. And what I can do different than the others. And I just be myself. I sell basically the same service than the others, which is surf lessons. And as my clients' feedbacks, I feel like people likes me, the way that I teach and the way that I involve with my clients. And I think I just being myself, and trying to do a good job, and that's it.
Yeah.
Basically, you just need to be you, authentic. I don't sell anything like very differently than the other surf schools. It's just, if you are good in what you do, I think...
You don't need the gimmicks.
Exactly.
You don't need the tricks.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, it's obviously like a beautiful story and a beautiful journey. Did you have any moments, though, that you were like, fuck this, I can't do it anymore, I'm broken, I'm giving up, I'm going to go and work in a comfortable, easy, solid job?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And, but now I see things differently. All the time that I felt that I need to do something. You know, like when you feel that things are going wrong, or your choice was not good, and you question yourself all the time, because when you don't have clients, you feel quite stressed. When you have a lot of clients, you feel stressed too. So for sure, I question myself like, okay, this is too stressful. It's hard to have a business. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna work in different thing. But when I feel that, I always like, it comes idea, okay, that idea is good. I'm going to focus on this. And things just start to come very naturally and grow. So yeah, for sure. I question myself to quit, but I'm not going to quit.
Yeah. I think because a lot of people, they'll look at business owners and say, they'll have an idea of it in their mind that like they were born that way, right? Like they were born that way and it's probably easy for them. And hearing that you are a person just like everybody else and you have the moments where you feel kind of, from what I'm hearing, like this imposter kind of syndrome of, who am I, I've made a surf school, I've made my name and my logo and I have my location, but I don't have clients. Like, what am I doing? But that's exactly it, right? It's something that is tangible for people to do. And it sounds like it's just taking that leap of faith, right? Deciding, making a decision and going for it. And now look at you. And I want to hear a little bit. So we've talked about that journey and the kind of struggles. Was there a moment where it kind of clicked and then things started to flow and business started to come in? Like, was there something particular that happened or that you did? So from going from those difficult times where there were no bookings and no business and you had to work with other surf schools, was there some event that happened, something that happened in your life or the way you ran the business that suddenly kind of like unclogged this blockage?
Actually, yes. It was like, as I told you, I was like questioning myself, like, should I keep working for different surf schools and at the same time try to work to Surf Mama? And one day I was like really pissed off with all this process, like why I need to go to another surf school if I have mine, but I don't have clients. So I literally like decide to just be to Surf Mama full time all the time. And then it comes that click very naturally. And yeah, I grab myself, I grab my surf school, and I never let my surf school anymore. And I stopped to work for different surf schools. It was a click in my mind. I think it's something that it just comes very naturally. It doesn't happen something certain in that moment. It just came to my mind.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, it was just an extra level of commitment and belief in it, right? Yes. Like, I'm clearing all the noise. I'm going full force in what I'm doing.
A lot of commit. That's where I feel a lot of commit. Yeah, that's true. You need to have commit. And sometimes we need to just do things, even you don't know what is going to happen after. And that's scary, but that's a good feeling as well. I like that sensation,
That kind of fear that makes you move.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like for me, having very stable job and this regular normal life, I don't think it fits on my personality. So all this feeling scared, don't know what it's gonna happen, it's very good for me. It makes me to feel alive.
Yeah.
And some adrenaline at the same time. For people around me, sometimes they thinking, okay, she's a bit crazy.
She's lost her mind. What's she doing?
But yeah, it gives me, I don't know, but I like it.
Well, it's funny because I mean, my background was working in kind of steady jobs and this and that before I took the leap of faith that I did. But when you're in that world, you hear these kind of like sentences and inspirational kind of quotes of, do one thing every day that scares you and things like that. So, like it's something that we need to keep us moving. And people who are kind of stuck in these comfort zones need to find it in other places, right? You're actually living it. You're doing it every single day.
I like it. I really like it to feel myself in an uncomfortable area because it makes me to create things and it makes me to be a better person. And it makes me to feel alive. And I don't know, I think I'm just on the right spot.
Amazing. And now, regarding the idea of, like you mentioned, not having female instructors when you were young and like the draw to that. It's something that is quite clear to me, the advantage of having women teaching. But what do you think? Like, what's the difference there? What's the difference between a male surf instructor and a female surf instructor? Obviously, speaking extremely generally, because
Yes, exactly.
every individual is their own human, their own world, right? But generally speaking, from things that you hear from your students or experiences that you have, what do you think is that differentiator?
I mean, I think it exists amazing surf instructors, male and female. I think it's really about your character. For sure, like younger girls in that chirurgic teenager time, they feel more comfortable with a woman, I think, or the opposite. They can feel more comfortable with a boy. It depends. For me, when I started to learn how to surf, I was quite sensible and insecure. So I thought that I felt like better with a woman. I don't know, because I never had that experience. But it's about your character, your personality as a surf coach. You know, you have many surf coach, and when you are coaching someone and teaching someone how to do something, you need to get closer to the person. And some people don't have that skill. I think it's a skill, it's something that it grows inside of you. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that skill to try to get closer to the people, because surf, it's a very complex sport and also physical and mental sport. And you need to get closer to the person and you need to know how to do that. And I think there is no way for me to coach someone without like trying to get closer to that person. And I think is one of my goals is that people matters to me, you know? Mm-hmm. And sometimes like we go surf because we want to just relax, something is going around, we want to go to the water, just clear our mind. So there is always a reason behind. I receive people, they come from me to learn how to surf. Some people, they come from me like they want to change their life because something bad happens. And when I listen that or when I feel that and I can see, it really matters for me. And I really want like to get closer to the person. And it's like a long process. You don't learn surfing in 1 week or in 1 month. So I think I'm doing well. I have clients already for like 4 years. They come every year to surf with me.
That's so nice.
Some clients, they already have another surf instructors, especially boys. I have a lot of boys, I can say. I have a lot of boys.
It's so nice because, you know, like if I'm thinking, I feel so invested in your journey, right, from these conversations. And like if I'm thinking of where you were back then, of is it going to work and how do I make it work to now, like people coming back 4 years in a row, like how does it make you feel? Like, is that the success that you were looking for? Does that make you feel like I did it?
Yeah. And I feel like I did it and I want more.
Yeah.
You know? And every year when I look to my phone, people call me, hey Inês, we are planning to go to Peniche. Are you available? Always same faces every year. And yeah, for sure I question, do I doing well? And I can say that I love my students. Mm-hmm. I love them. And it's a good sensation. It's good.
For sure.
I think I'm quite emotional person. And I've been putting a lot of love and emotions in my project and Surf Mama School. And I think this is very important. For sure, you need to be very rational. Numbers are important. Mm-hmm. When you have a business, you need to be aware of that for sure. But love first.
Love first. I mean, it's like nurturing plants or animals or anything, right? Mm-hmm. You got to put your love into it. Yeah. And actually, so, you know, obviously on the Rush platform, we have the best surf schools, instructors, coaches all over Portugal. And this is something that I hear from all of them, basically. Because surf isn't just a sport. It's not just do this, learn this, this is a technique, go in. The very, very, very first step for them all is connecting with the people, building that trust, building that confidence. So then that person will go after you into the ocean that can be a wild, scary environment, but feel comfortable and confident, right? That's like the base layer of anything in surfing. You have to feel comfortable first of all, then you can start working on technique and all of the sort of technical stuff.
Even I already received people, they never saw the sea before, like,
oh really?
From the north, they never see the sea, so they don't know about like tides, high tide, low tide, waves. So for sure they feel scary. So yeah, it's like you really need to, don't know how to say this, but it's a big process. Introduce them to the ocean, introduce them to the surfboards, technical parts, safety rules. There is a lot going around, especially with the kids. They can just get scared with a wave or something. So yeah, it's
it's really like a leadership role, right? You need to lead people after you into this kind of like battleground, which is the ocean. Amazing. And tell us a little bit about the kind of students that you like to work with, how that evolved over time. Did you have like a particular client type at the beginning that it looks completely different now? Like how did you find that your niche or your passion for the type of person you like to work with?
Actually, in the beginning, it's like what type of clients I want to teach, what type of people I want to have on my surf school. And I realized that families and kids are really like my channel of clients of my surf school. I love to teach kids. Like I have a lot of fun with the kids. I love it. And all the partnerships and business stuff that I do, I want to channel families. I want to have families and kids learning how to surf with me and with my surf instructors. Don't know, it comes very naturally. Families, wife families. I don't know, but I love to see like people, they love each other, to have like fantastic moments in the water, at the sand. And I know they're not gonna forget that.
Yeah.
And for sure I have different type of students, a little bit more experience, which is I do like video nollies, surf skate sessions, which is a very good complement for surfing as well.
For sure.
When you want to improve your technical part. But in terms of clients that I have in Surf Mama School, I have more families and kids, and I love them. And they come every year. And I think it's beautiful when you have like mom, dad, 2, 3, 4 kids, and they are there enjoying at the sea. And they always like enjoy a lot, and they say thank you on the end. And they always come back. And I feel like very glad in the end of the day when I go home. Always very tired because it's very tiring to coach at the beach, many hours in the sun. Sometimes the sea is quite rush, currents. It's not easy. It's very intense physical job. But in the end of the day, I sit in my couch and I feel like very glad and proud. And I know that people, when they'll come back to their countries, they have like a good memory from that day. And they're not gonna forget, and can be like very marketable for some small kids. And sometimes I feel that I changed their lives, and that's a very good sensation.
Have you had any like feedbacks like that where people really tell you like the impact that short time that you had with them has had on their lives?
Yeah, I felt like I already listened from like some people like, Inês, thank you so much to introduce me to the ocean, to surfing. You changed my life. I was struggling with this or that, and now like my life is just different, or I found a passion. Thank you for that. And now in the days we can share with each other our passion. And yeah, I already listened that feedbacks, and that's very, very important for me. And one of the biggest reasons for me to keep going and try to get to closer to more people, keep sharing surfing, keep sharing coaching and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like a two-way street, right? Like as much as you're feeding them, they're also feeding you the energy, the motivation, like to keep going when times are difficult.
Yeah, sometimes they tell me that I'm a tough coach.
Ah, yeah?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's hard for me to see.
Yeah, tough in what? Like tough in terms like don't give up. I'm always there. Like
Right.
keep going. We're gonna make it better. This is not working. It's okay. Let's try this.
Uh-huh.
And I don't give up. When I see that things are not going as I would like or they like, because we feel very frustrated when we go to the water.
For sure.
Or they don't stand up or they want to make like a cutback or pop up. Some of the things and people can't do it that. At the end of the session, you are like very frustrated and you want to give up. You don't want to continue surfing. And yes, I feel that I'm tough on that because I don't let you give up, you know?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Have you ever had any breakdown and say like, I'm not doing anymore? No.
Not possible.
No. Not possible. Surf master.
Not possible. Because it's normal that we feel that. I already felt it. I already felt that process. And that's also very helpful for me. And I can share that.
You're able to apply what you've learned in life from all the challenges you faced.
So, yeah, I'm a tough coach. Sometimes they're telling me. And also I can say that I'm a little bit, how do I say? I like to do things well.
Mm-hmm. Like a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm. I'm very perfectionist. And yeah, that's when I'm tough. I don't let you give up.
But the kids are great, right? Like you see these tiny little kids shredding, fearless, just going for it. I was actually, we were in Nazaré a few weeks ago, and there's a 12-year-old kid. I think he's Belgian. 12-year-old kid. He was out there for like 8 hours, just surfing nonstop, being towed in to massive waves. And like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. They're little sponges, right?
Inspiration. Come on.
Yeah, and I guess like for you, where it's all about the love, the passion, the like changing people's lives, when you can get them so small, the impact you're going to have on the rest of their life is so much bigger, right?
Sure. And like, as I said, surf changed my life. So if I can change the life of someone, why I'm not going to do that?
Sharing a gift, right?
Yeah. And my slogan is share the moment. So I think sharing is caring, and we should share our knowledge. And some people don't share, they keep to themselves, but share, it's very important.
Well, this is like, so for me, a sort of, it's a crazy paradox in the surf culture, right? A lot of people who aren't within surfing think of surfers as like peace and love and chill and cool. The reality of it is it's basically the opposite a lot of the times, right? It's very like exclusive, keep people out, protect our spots, protect our waves and keep them to ourselves. But I think that's like, this is what we're really looking to achieve with the Rush. And this is why we're working with amazing people like you, because it's about doing it in a responsible and respectful way, right? We don't have to close it off to other people to keep it for us. But if we teach people properly, the etiquette, the theory, how to be independent surfers and not just how to catch a wave, I think that's what's really going to make the change, right? We're going to include people who understand the culture, respect the culture, and are going to integrate themselves kind of seamlessly into that without having that kind of negative element and that antagonism that we see in surfing.
When I was young, first I learned how to surf by myself, looking to the others at the beach, and I tried to get closer to the older people, the locals from there, and everyone was helping me. Like they were pushing me on the waves, they were telling me, go to this spot, don't go there. For sure, I had like unhappy moments sometimes. They like trying to kick me out of the water. What are you doing here? But I can say that I was lucky because I met very nice locals from Peniche, the real old ones.
The OGs. Yeah.
Okay. And I have actually a very nice friend. It's a very old surfer from Peniche, one of the first surfers in Portugal. And he introduced me to the beach that I love in Baleal. I started to surf in Prainha. And I considering surfers, locals from the beaches, because you always go surf to the spot that you most like it. Okay. And localism exists. And for sure, we need to respect the locals. I already travel for surfing. And if I go surf for another country, another place, when I get in the water, I respect the locals. I try to get my wave. I wait to the others. And I think that's the beginning. If you respect the others, they will respect you anyway. For sure, surfing, sometimes you have some conflicts in the water, some fights. But I think most of the time, it also exists stupid people in the world. And most of the time, people, they don't respect the others, they're gonna have problems for sure.
But that's the problem, when people don't know what they're doing wrong, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
see
true.
so many beginner surfers or even intermediate surfers that get shouted at by people with no explanation. And they're like, what the fuck is he shouting at me for? Like, and they're just scared and they feel intimidated and they leave and they don't know for the next time to not repeat that mistake, right?
When I was young, I was like, when someone was dropping me or disturbed my wave, I was like quite mad with it. But now I learn, like, sometimes I question, like, do you know where is the channel? Do you know that you can't be here? This is danger for you. This is danger for the others. And a lot of people here at the sea, they don't know the rules.
Exactly.
So it's not nice if you just judge someone at the first point and after you realize, okay, that person don't know. So it's quite bad from my side, like starting to like a fight or bad conversation inside of the sea and people don't know.
For sure.
So I always try to guide them and advise them, like, okay, you should be here, don't do that, exist priorities. And people ask me, what is priorities?
Yeah, there you go.
So yes, it's a mix of sensation. It's not that easy. And I can tell you, as a woman, I had already quite sad situations in the water because of some men don't respect women. They think, okay, you are a woman, I'm gonna drop you.
Walk all over you.
Even if you like make a good wave or a good maneuver, or even if you are not like really good on technical on surfing, some men don't respect women in the water, which is, I don't like it and I don't understand the reason. And I already have this situation with some boys, like kept paddling for my waves, dropping me. And sometimes I go there, I chat with them. Why you are doing that? It's like the third time you are dropping me. I don't dropping you. And they don't even care. And sometimes they answer me in bad way. And yeah, that's quite sad. Now I feel that it's getting better, but we need more women in the water. And also, I don't think that a man would like a woman dropping them all the time.
Right.
He will feel like, why this woman is doing that to me? So it's not that easy as a woman. You go there, you go to like a peak, for example, Legide or something. So it's like full of locals, good surfers.
Legide is an amazing point break in Peniche, but the problem with point breaks is it's one wave breaking in one place, and that particular spot can get very, very packed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have some friends, they say, but you are a girl, for sure that you can get the waves that you want. That's not true. That's not true. It's like, you are a girl, they kept paddling and they don't care. And I always try to pass that message for the people, don't do that, because it's not fair. It's not because I am a woman that I don't have priority on my wave or I can paddle for the waves. I hope now in the future we have more girls in the water and things will change. But yes, it's very intimidated when you go for a peak full of men and you are the only woman there.
For sure,
and
I can imagine.
You feel like, okay, I'm going to paddle, I'm going to try to get my priority. But you feel like always like scary.
Well, as a man who surfs, it's something that doesn't even cross my mind, right? But it's another challenge that you're facing. But I think like this idea of like people not knowing the etiquette and not knowing what they're doing wrong, like you said, they don't even know what priority is. That's what's, I think it's a big mistake that a lot of the surf schools are doing by not teaching that theory. And I think it's a really massive advantage of what, you know, schools like yours are doing, of actually taking the time to teach people how to read the ocean, how to understand how to navigate lineups, other surfers, respecting localism, you know, that cultural aspect, as well as things like using the channel and not just paddling straight into the impact zone and things like this, which are such important kind of peripheral lessons of surfing, which aren't really taught in a big scale, right? Only really like the special schools like yours are the ones that take the time to do that. But that is what makes everything so much smoother, easier, and more comfortable for people eventually to learn how to surf and enter this sport.
But it's actually quite weird sometimes that I realize, like, I receive beginners. Most of the time I work with beginners, people they already surf in different surf schools, and they don't know priorities. And priorities for me, it's inside of the safety rules.
Right.
You know, it's something very important. For sure, when you are beginning and you are learning how to stand up, it doesn't make sense to teach priorities because you need to be able to surf in the lineup, identify a right wave, a left waves, and then it's right time to learn priorities. But now, because of all these problems, I start to introduce a little bit the priorities more in the beginning, so people understand that exist rules in the water. Even for a beginner, they catch most of the time foamy waves, broken waves, and they already question me why you are telling them about the priorities. But for me, it makes more sense now in the days, exactly because of this that you are speaking about, because people need to be aware that exist priorities and exist rules, like driving. Before you get your card and you start to drive, you are aware of the rules that you need to do and things that you should not do, and things that if you do it wrong, it can be bad for you.
For sure. And I guess like, especially if you only have like a week with these people and maybe they won't yet be ready to go out to the lineup, if you're giving the Surf Mama stamp and letting them loose onto the surf world, I guess you wanna leave them with those lessons, right?
Sure. Sometimes like I don't have enough time, and my clients come back, and I always want to, if I start from the zero, for sure I want like to keep working with them, make like a line of process, take them to the lineup, teach them all these technical parts.
The last thing I want to touch on with you, Inej, is regarding, you know, what we're doing here with the Rush, you know, the platform and this collection of amazing providers and surf professionals we have all over Portugal. I want to hear kind of your thoughts on it. You know, what you think it means for surfing in Portugal, for schools like yours.
I think Rush is like made it for things that you really want. You can like find a service for beginners, a service for like some experienced surfers. They want a different guide. For example, I never surf that much in north of Portugal, and if I have clients, they ask me about like, Inej, can you advise me of like a good surf school on the south or on the north of Portugal? Can you advise me? And I think Rush, it's really good on that, because people don't know sometimes and where they're gonna find and with who, and Rush is made for that, so people can search what they need, different type of surfers, of service. And I think you are doing very well trying like to find the best surfers, best surf schools, photographers, everything around in Portugal. And it's gonna be easy for people to search that on Rush, and they will for sure find what they really need and not having a bad experience, and for sure always a good experience with all of us that we are part of the Rush.
Yeah, I mean, well, thank you for those kind words, first of all, but the amount of times I've been in Peniche or Ericeira or all these different spots and heard, seen beginner surfers, with the sun cream on their face, kind of with sad faces, saying, I'm never going to do a surf lesson again, just because they're not treated with that love and care and passion. And I guess that's the mission, right? To just make it easy for people to fall in love with the sport and have a good, positive experience from it by coming to people like you who, like we just said, do things with care and love and passion. Inej, it's been awesome to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all the best with everything that's happening with your business. I think it's extremely inspirational.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, if you have any final words to kind of inspire, especially girls out there or anyone looking to make a living from surfing, because there are so many people who want to be able to make a lifestyle from this amazing sport. I'd love for you to share those words with them.
Okay, what can I say is, surf is amazing. I hope everyone has at least one time in their life you should try. And if you have a dream, please don't give up of your dreams. And for all the women, if you feel afraid to try to surf, or if anytime you feel afraid to create your own business in the man world, please never give up and follow your dreams. And if you do that, you're going to get what you want.
That's an awesome ending. Thanks so much.